When I walk across the stage as a college graduate, it's going to be an amazing feeling knowing my life story and how dark it was. Can't nobody tell me God isn't real. And I thank everyone for the love y'all send me and wanting to see me overcome, even though you don't know me. But I'm happy and thankful I'm able to show the world the real me that I hid for many years. I was never a thug, a gangster, gangbanger, nor a fighter. None of it. I was a shy, very nerdy, kind, and loving kid who allowed the world to turn me into someone I wasn't. This is truly me, Nayshawn Clay.
Happy Friday and welcome to Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu, the live podcast bringing much needed community conversations to the table. Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu is an exciting, reverent, and educational podcast that digs deep into current topics, community involvement, and stories of our alumni success that only Martin University can deliver. I am Antia King, and joining me today is Vice President and General Counsel of Black Onyx Management, Doneisha Posey, JD, for our Women's History Month segment. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
I am honored to have you here because you are like the jack of all trades, and I want you to know before we start, you're like the inspo for all young Black women and women of color to just do what we can do and then like just break all these glass ceilings. So we're going to get right into it with you letting everyone know who you are and what you do.
Sure. So again, my name is Doneisha Posey. I'm currently Vice President and General Counsel at Black Onyx Management. Black Onyx Management is a Black-owned applied research firm and DEI consultancy where we work with organizations who are ready to move from what we call allies to accomplices. And that means moving from making these statements into actually taking action. And so we just do a lot of work with organizations around the country to move them to the next level. And so prior to working at Black Onyx Management, I was at Ivy Tech Community College, where I served as the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Belonging for the college. Ivy Tech is the largest singly accredited community college in the country. And so I was very honored to do that work, affecting over, I want to say 150,000 students' lives every year, and we had over 6,000 employees across the state. Prior to being at Ivy Tech, I was at the Indiana Civil Rights Commission, where I served as Deputy Director and General Counsel, and prior to that, I was the Administrative Law Judge. And that experience really changed my life and the trajectory of my career. I really enjoyed working at an organization where we were able to enforce Indiana anti-discrimination laws all across the state, spent a lot of time educating folks on their rights and responsibilities under the Indiana civil rights laws, and just really created an appetite really for myself as it relates to being a catalyst for change here in the state of Indiana. And so another thing that I do, you call me a jack of all trades, that's probably true, because I do a lot of things. Something else that I do, I'm an adjunct professor at IU McKinney School of Law, where I teach a course called Race in the Law. And I also teach a course called Housing Discrimination and Segregation. And also on top of that, I've started an organization called We Brunch. We stands for Women's Equity. And what we do at We Brunch is we bring together hundreds of women across central Indiana to focus on issues that affect women at different intersections. So we talk about women in race, socioeconomics, sexual orientation, disability, just all different areas in which being a woman has different intersections and different challenges. And so really excited about that work. We just recently had a brunch earlier this month, March 5th. We had over 200 women join us where we talked about being a woman and being an entrepreneur. And we had a panel of diverse women, not only racially, but also in different industries, talking about their journey to entrepreneurism and just giving some really great advice and tips along the way. So that's me professionally, but personally, I am a mom of two. I have two beautiful children, Naima and Cairo Posey. They are 7 and 8. They are my life. And yeah, I guess that's me in a nutshell.
Nice. 7 and 8. That means they're really close. Me and my sisters are 3 years apart each. So we didn't start talking to each other till I was like in high school. So I'm glad you kept it close together for them because I know that they're going to be.
It's a struggle though. My daughter was 4 months old when I found out I was pregnant with my son. So they're just 13 months apart. They don't know life without each other. So there's a lot of fighting, but there's also a lot of love and hugs.
Yeah, obviously sibling fights are going to happen, but at least they can go through it together and a little bit of high school together and see where that takes them. But I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know your experience background as far as your education. What did you do or what did you study to get all of these experiences throughout your professional career?
Yeah, so I will say that I'm born and raised here in Indianapolis, Indiana. I actually started my formative years over there, a few blocks from Martin University in Brightwood. That's where I was. My grandparents and my aunts and uncles, my dad, everyone lived over there until I moved on the west side. Ended up going to Ben Davis High School and going to college. I went to Marian University, also on the west side of Indianapolis. And while I was in college, I was about to graduate and I didn't know necessarily what was going to be my next steps. I had always thought about going to law school, but I never met a lawyer before a day in my life. Never walked into a courtroom. Didn't really know what lawyers did other than what I saw on TV. And so I was attracted by what I saw on TV, right? So Claire Huxtable, for example, was one of my TV role models growing up, and just seeing strong women in a courtroom, not taking any BS, just being powerful. I wanted that for myself. And so I decided to go to law school. Went to law school. While I was there, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm learning so much about so many different areas of the law. What am I going to do? And so what I realized, it was less about what area of the law I wanted to practice, but what I wanted to get out of practicing law. And that was to be a voice for those who didn't necessarily have a voice. I have family members who needed legal assistance in different capacities, but didn't know where to go. And also friends. And so I thought, okay, this is my opportunity to be that voice for folks. And so once I graduated from law school, I actually started working in immigration because I also speak Spanish. And so that was really powerful work that I was doing, helping so many folks who really don't have a voice, not a part of our government system at all, right? Depending on where they are in the immigration process, and really helping those folks and guiding them on a path to residency or citizenship, or even just a visa. And so that, my heart for helping folks really led me on all the paths that I took. So after doing immigration, I went to the Civil Rights Commission. I had not practiced civil rights law before going there. And as soon as I got there, I absorbed as much as I could. I focused so much on learning the law, on previous cases, on all sorts of things, so I could be an expert when folks came to the Civil Rights Commission. And I truly love the work that I did there. It is some of the most powerful work that anyone, I would say, could do. And so when I was at the Civil Rights Commission, although I loved the work that I was doing, I thought, maybe I want to go work for an organization where I can help stop any type of civil rights issues from happening. So I can be on the proactive side and not just on the reactive side. And so that's what led me to the Ivy Tech, where I was leading all of the conversations around diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, but so that we could be proactive and not end up on the bad side of Civil Rights Commission or EEOC or anything like that. And so I just say I followed my heart in everything that I've done, but it takes a lot of hard work. I am probably one of the first people to get up in the morning and one of the last people to go to bed, because I love to work hard, but I also love to play hard too. So I make sure I spend time with my family, my children, my friends, and I also love to travel a lot. So I would just say working hard and leading with your heart, it just helped me to get to where I am.
I know you mentioned that you are part of an organization called WE, which is Women Equity, and what helped bring that to fruition within your career field, and what inspired that to just say, okay, I want to do something else to be proactive. I know that on your career side that you're being proactive, but this sounds a little more personable and professional, like you wanted to mend those together. So how did that even come about?
So all of my girlfriends, we love to get together for brunch and have mimosas and get dressed up and look nice and do all of that. But we also like to talk about challenging issues and things that affect our community. And so I thought, how do I put the two together? How do I come up with this brunch idea where everybody is looking great and having their mimosa and having a good time networking, but really focus on some equity challenges that affect our community? And so that's where the concept of We Brunch came from. And I will also say, selfishly, I started We Brunch because I'm pulled in a lot of directions all the time. I'm asked to speak at a lot of things or attend events, and I just have limited time because of my career and all of my, I'm on nonprofit boards. I have my children, they have extracurricular activities, all of that. And so, like I said, selfishly, I created We Brunch so that instead of me going to 200 different places, I can bring 200 people. So we have We Brunches throughout the year. And like I said, we bring in over 200 women together. And so this is just an opportunity where I can have everybody come to me and I can network that way instead of me going to a million places.
Right. Well, when you work as hard as you do, I think that you're more than deserving to have your own event, especially seeing where all you go. But that was smart. That didn't even cross my mind that would be the main point. But I love that. I know you said that you guys have an event on March 5th. When is the next event for We Brunch, and how does someone, register or sign up for a subscription to know the, updates? Let us know all of that so then everybody could be there.
Okay. So first, please follow us on IG, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook. You can find us on Instagram at We Brunch Indie. And then if you also just search us on Facebook or LinkedIn as We Brunch Indie, you can find us as well. We put out a lot of content over, all the time around different women equity issues. For example, this month during Women's History Month, we focused on Equal Pay Day, which just happened a week or so ago, where we discussed the different pay equity issues. So, for example, every dollar that a white man makes here in Central Indiana, an Asian woman makes 79 cents, a white woman makes 76 cents, a Black woman makes 58 cents, and a Latina woman makes 53 cents. And so really understanding that there's pay equity not only between men and women, but also pay equity between women based off of race is a really important concept that we at We Brunch want to make sure that folks understand. And so our next We Brunch is not until November 5th. But prior to that, we'll have a networking event in September. So please follow us on our social media. And also our website is a really long one. So it's inclusionconsultantnetwork.org/WeBrunch.
They got that down. And I wanted to ask you, what is equity for people that don't know exactly what equity is? I know a lot of artists and actors and rappers and singers, they're starting to include that within their work. And people are like, well, what is equity? Why does Beyonce say, pay me in equity? What is it? So if people don't know what it is, you can explain exactly what that is.
Yeah, thank you for that. So people tend to confuse equality and equity. So equality is giving everybody the same thing. It's just equal, right? I give you 2 apples. I give him 2 apples. I give her 2 apples. That's equal. Equity is giving people what they need, right? Based off of where they are. And it really depends on the context. But you might need 2 apples because you have yourself and your child, right? But he might only need 1 apple because he already has one and his child is the only one who doesn't. And then she might not need any apples because she's already have her 2, right? And so equity is the concept of giving folks what they actually need. And so when we think about equity, right, especially as we think about women equity, women based off of their different marginalization, so race, for example, socioeconomics, sexual orientation, different characteristics, makes us start at different places, right? And so just with the pay equity conversation, if we said for every $1 a white man made, the average woman makes, I think it's 76 cents. It's the average woman. Mm-hmm. If we said, all right, all women get 24 cents to add up to the $1, right? That's equality. We're getting everybody the same thing. But what we're missing is the inequities that are underlying that. So if we gave a Black woman who was only making 58 cents, that 24 cents, she's still not getting what she needs in order to get equity to get to that $1 mark.
Nice. That's well explained. I wanted to know if you heard any news. I've seen it just recently about Glassdoor and how they are inquiring diversity, equity, inclusion now in the reviews of companies and jobs, whereas they only list salaries only, and that does a good job, or just how many people are hired, just reviews. What is your take on them, like a network or a search engine, including that part of the workforce?
Yeah, I think that's very important. A lot of the work that I currently do at Black Onyx Management as we work with different organizations is to help them identify what are their diversity, equity, and inclusion goals. And so looking at data is key. We don't want to just say, hey, we want 20 more Black people and 10 more Latinos just arbitrarily. We want to ensure that the data that we're looking at actually makes sense, and we're creating goals that correlate with that data. So I think Glassdoor and other entities like that are inquiring more for an organization is so important, because as folks are out there looking for jobs, diversity, equity, and inclusion is not just a good thing to have, right? Folks are making sure that that's mandatory and that's a priority for organizations. And so if I'm going to work for an organization, I want to make sure that they are prioritizing diversity, equity, inclusion, that their recruitment, retention, and promotion strategies internally are reflecting the communities that they serve. Do you have Black and Latino leaders at the C-suite? Do you have Black and Latinos in middle management, or are you just saying, yeah, we have a diverse workforce, but none of them are in leadership, right? So really just aggregating the data to show where folks are. That is so key. And so the work that I'm doing at Black Onyx Management, we have a program called Accomplishment in Action. And that's where we are working with organizations to make sure that they have created metrics that are quantifiable, to show that they're really making the right steps in order to achieve more diversity, equity, and inclusion. And not just for DEI's sake, but to ensure that the communities that we serve are thriving, and especially our Black and other historically marginalized communities.
I love that. That is awesome, because it's obviously, like you said, there was nothing like that here. So for you guys to implement and bring that to our communities is really big. And I hope people that are watching take initiative and contact and do what you need to do to have Miss Doneisha Posey help you and her crew, her team, everybody there to help as they can. I also wanted to ask what your goals were this year. I know that we're like ending the first quarter of 2023. What is your goals for 2023, the remaining part?
I got a lot of goals. That probably is my problem. I got too many goals. But I would just say, on the personal side, I have a goal of actually just being more in tune spiritually. So I want to make sure that I am going to church more often, and creating a closer relationship with God. Also, I have some goals to spend more quality time with my kids, not just sitting at home, but doing some actual activities or going on vacations together, things like that. Spending less on toys and things that they forget about, and more time together. I also have some travel goals. I went to Italy earlier this year, and later on, I'll be going to Colombia with some girlfriends. So I wanted to make sure that I put myself first this year, and met some of my travel goals that I had. But professionally, I have just goals of ensuring that the work that we're doing at Black Onyx Management continues to grow, continues to continue to create more clientele. So if you're in HR, or if you're in leadership for an organization, we would love to come and talk to you about your current DEI practices. We also do strategic planning. We do quality of life. We do a lot of different applied research projects. So if you have any need, please don't hesitate to contact us at Black Onyx.
Yes. One more question about your goals. Did you go to Venice by chance?
No, we went to, so me, my mom, and my little sister, we went to Rome, and we went to Milan.
I was going to say, because they saying that, parts of Italy is sinking and they're going underwater. So I wanted to know if it was true. If you've seen any of that. But
yeah. So Venice, especially, I heard, like, in the next, I don't know, couple of decades or so, Venice might be gone. Because it is such a water city, and if everything is going down, yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, so I'm like, I need to put that on my list so I can tell my kids it was someplace, that was there at one point, but now it's just all water. That's what I'll tell them. I wanted to know if you plan on making We Brunch regional, if you thought about connecting with other cities surrounding Indianapolis, like Chicago, Detroit, Cincy, Louisville.
Actually, yes. We've been, someone has reached out to us in different cities and asked, like, could we do that there? And so we wanted to make sure that we created a really strong foundation here for it before we branched off anywhere else. And I would say after 2 years of doing this and doing it well, we might be ready to branch off. So so if you're in another city and you're looking to see if you could bring re-brunch to where you are, don't hesitate to contact me.
Period. Last thing, right, before we wrap things up, I asked everybody this month, what does Women's History Month mean to you?
Oh man, that's such a great question. Women's History Month is so important to me as I think about my career and all of the women that have come before me in this work. I think of women like Judge Tanya Walton Pratt, who is the first African American woman to be on the federal bench on the Southern District of Indiana. I think about Charlotte E. Ray, who was the first woman attorney in the state, in the country back in the early 1900s. I think of so many women that have, like you said at the beginning, shattered those glass ceilings and broke through to create opportunity for girls like me to be able to dream, to be all the things that I want to be. I don't feel limited in any way because of my race or my gender or anything. I know that with God, I'm able to do whatever I want to do as long as I put my mind to it. And so I want to make sure that I'm able to also lift other women up as I continue to climb, and that we just always encourage each other and be voices for one another. And so, Women's History Month is so important.
Yes, I definitely think you and your team are doing great jobs with becoming a force for women that look like us, walk like us, and probably from the same neighborhood. And we have no idea who is looking or who is watching. So I would say for everybody that is watching, to keep doing what you're doing, because people are for sure watching. And when I worked at Indiana Civil Rights, I got there right when you left, and it was Doneisha. I'm like, who is Doneisha? And they're just like, oh, well, I need you to email Doneisha. I'm like, Dr. Wilson. It's like, email Doneisha. I'm like, I don't have her email. I don't know how you want me to do this. So you definitely leave your mark anywhere that you go. And so keep doing what you're doing. And I thank you so much for joining us on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu, and for sharing your knowledge and your expertise and what you do for the community. Is greatly appreciated. So again, y'all got some time. Y'all got till November 5th. Well, make it October 5th to get y'all tickets for a wee brunch. Don't wait.
So our tickets sell out within like 2 or 3 days. So please get on our mailing list, and we'll tell you when the ticket sales go open, and make sure you don't hesitate to press that purchase ticket button, because it will sell out.
You heard it. And we're about to go regional and national, all that good stuff. So we're just going to speak it into existence. So I thank you again so much. Guys, I am your guest host, Antia King, and I will see you same place, same time, right here on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu.
Thank you.
Bye.
When I walk across the stage as a college graduate, it's going to be an amazing feeling knowing my life story and how dark it was. Can't nobody tell me God isn't real. And I thank everyone for the love y'all send me and wanting to see me overcome, even though you don't know me. But I'm happy and thankful I'm able to show the world the real me that I hid for many years. I was never a thug, a gangster, gangbanger, nor a fighter. None of it. I was a shy, very nerdy, kind, and loving kid who allowed the world to turn me into someone I wasn't. This is truly me, Nayshawn Clay.